Western Area Power Generation project contract to supply, install, construct and commission a liquefied petroleum gas, LPG, liquefied natural gas, LNG, plant for a period of concession of 22 years. The power produced is estimated to benefit approximately an additional 900,000 consumers. In addition, abundant electricity will be generated and transmitted to the entire Western area, Mr. Speaker. The agreed tariff is cost competitive and one of the lowest in the region for gas generation, and will be the least cost farm power generation for Sierra Leone, as it is not only seasonally dependent. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, it is worth noting that the LPG capacity charge for this particular project stands at 7.238 cents per kilowatt hour, plus the variable component, which is the fuel at the current market rates. And also, the capacity charge for LNG also stands at 7.038 US cents per kilowatt hour, plus the variable cost also, which is the fuel at current market rate. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the project is scalable, which will result in HFO generation project. They, however, include an operations and maintenance cost, a fuel surcharge, and cost for the transmission network to provide grid stability and increased access. In addition, the gas turbines are significantly more efficient than HFO plant. Generation time, the plant will revert to Government of Sierra Leone as a fully owned asset. The DFC, that is the Development Finance Corporation, provided financing at the lowest interest rate in their history, which stood at 3.8% over London Interbank offered rate, which is abbreviated as LIBOR. This indicates confidence in the project financials and bankability, Mr. Speaker. This project will be located in the Kissy industrial site area, with targeted beneficiaries being the industries or factories in the east end of Freetown and, by extension, the western area. The western area has a population of just over 1.2 million and is fast growing, Mr. Speaker. The additional power provided by the project will address the current issue of suppressed demand in the high growth suburbs. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, it is worth noting that the power plant will comprise of certain features. 1, the installation of Siemens gas turbines. 2, light fuel oil storage tanks and water treatment facilities. 3, a new 33 kV indoor substation at the Kissy site. 4, the construction of approximately 1.3 kilometer fuel pipeline from the new jetty for the landing of the LPG/LNG to the Kissy site. 5, an 8 kilometer reinforcement of the 33 kV sub-transmission line from Blackwell Road to the Wellington substation. 6, installation of an additional 33/11 kV transformers at the Kleintown and Wellington substation. And 7, a jetty for the landing of the LPG to the Kissy site. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, construction will be undertaken under a turnkey engineering, procurement and construction contract, with the commercial operation date expected to be 36 months. And we are expecting the start of construction at the start of Q4 of 2024. So 2023. With the changes, the project now comprises of the construction and operation of Copperbelt Energy Corporation Africa, Sierra Leone Limited, of a 103.5 megawatt thermal plant on a build, own, operate and transfer basis, which is a model, BOT model. The land is leased by Gossel to the project company for a period of 26 years. The project demonstrates the ability of the government of Sierra Leone to attract foreign investment in a large infrastructure project with long-term commitment. This includes that government is equipped to close such a complex project and being able to attract additional foreign long-term investment. The majority of the project debt is or will be financed by DFC, effectively the United States government. Therefore, this project will further cement US interest in Sierra Leone. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the project is the enabler and anchor offtake for the intended LNG terminal, which will result in sector transformation. A developed LNG infrastructure will reduce electricity costs significantly for mines and industry, as well as further residential expansion. The project is sponsored by Milele Energy and TCQ Power Limited, a local project company which is Sierra Leone Limited. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, please permit me to also give a summary of the second component of this presentation. That is the 15 megawatt solar and storage power generation project power purchase agreement. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the Ministry of Energy, the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Justice, and the Electricity Distribution and Supply Authority, ETSA, the off-taker, jointly negotiated the power purchase agreement of a 15 megawatt solar energy generation project with a battery energy storage system developed by Newton Solar Limited, and a concession period is for 20 years. Akko Energy and SMRT PES are the project developers and have proposed to deliver this project alongside the existing 6 megawatt solar plant in Newton, which is government asset. SMRT PES, the initial project developer, was appointed on the 20th November 2017 as the contractor of the 6 megawatt solar plant funded by the Abu Dhabi Development Fund, which represents the first utility scale power plant in the country. The purpose of this project, Mr. Speaker, is to provide electricity to the surrounding districts in urban and rural Freetown in order to reduce the dependency on fuel and other power stations. Increasing generation output to meet the ever-growing load demand in the western area, especially around Waterloo and Joy, is vital. Additionally, this project will stabilize electricity supply in the western area throughout the year, irrespective of the dry season. The project will increase the rate of employment and economic activities and also improve the quality of life of our people and assist in poverty alleviation. An MOU with SMRT PES and the Ministry of Energy was entered into on the 16th April 2019. And on the 3rd March 2022, SMRT PES informed GOSEP that they have partnered with Akko Energy to continue the development of the project. Akko Energy was selected given their extensive experience with battery energy storage system and their history of delivering ancillary services. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the government of Sierra Leone, Akko Energy Limited, and SMRT continued negotiation on the PPA from 2019 to 15 April 2023. The developer will be providing all funding upfront at no cost to government. This will be in a take-and-pay contract whereby the off-taker pays for what the supplier or developer supplies only, which is very vital for the attention of this noble house. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the agreed tariff set out in the PPA is currently at 11 US cents per kilowatt hour. And this agreed tariff so far could be de-escalated by 0.5 cents for every 5 years. The project is sponsored by Akko Energy and SMRT PES, the local project company. And Mr. Speaker, kindly permit me also to give a summary of the third component of my presentation, which is the 28.2 megawatt Betmai Hydroelectric power project, power purchase agreement amendment. The Ministry of Energy, the Ministry of Finance, the Ministry of Justice, and the Electricity Distribution and Supply Authority, the off-taker, jointly negotiated a power purchase agreement of a 28.2 megawatt runoff river hydroelectric power project developed and sponsored by Sewa Energy Resources.
Excuse me, just a moment. Are the whips here?
Yes.
I notice people who are not properly attired within the chamber of the House. People must learn that this is a very sacred place.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, with your leave again, let me just go through the entire paragraph again. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the Ministry of Energy, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Justice, and the Electricity Distribution and Supply Authority, the off-taker, jointly negotiated a power purchase agreement of a 28.2 megawatt runoff river hydroelectric power project, which is being developed and sponsored by Sierraleone Resources Limited, the first locally owned indigenous hydroelectric power plant in this country. The project is centrally located in proximity to Sierra Leone's main mining areas in the north, as well as to the West African Power Pool CLSG transmission line. The project comprises the design, financing, construction, and operation by Sierraleone Resources Limited of a 28.2 megawatt Betmai HPP on a build, own, operate, and transfer model with a 20-year PPA concession. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the project has the following features. One, the project is located at Mabuba village in Tonkolili district and is along the Pampana River in the north of Sierra Leone. Two, the project is close to the CLSG transmission line that runs through 5 substations in Sierra Leone, namely Tiloma and Bumpe in the east, Bumbuna in the northeast, Yiben and Kamakwe in the northwest. The Betmai power plant will connect to the CLSG transmission line with a 35-kilometer 22 kV interconnection transmission line to enhance evacuation capacity from the generating facility. 3. With ease to interconnect to the CLSG transmission line, it serves as an anchor generation facility, and it is well suited to exploit the import and export potential of inter-regional power trade and provide energy security to Sierra Leone and the ECOWAS region. It will also help increase the technical integration of the West African Power Pool network and provide energy security. Being a land-based power plant, the project will require significant labor from Sierra Leone. It is estimated that the construction firm will employ between 1,000 to 2,000 workers at the peak of construction. And we expect the construction work to be undertaken by a turnkey engineering, procurement, and construction EPC contract with a commercial operation date expected 30 months after the start of construction. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, as amidst the growing efforts by governments of Sierra Leone through Ministry of Energy to improve energy generation and supply, the total generation capacity is below the current demand for power, which results in load shedding, particularly during the dry season. Unlike the hydropower generation from the current Bumbuna 1 in Tonkolili, this project will supply farm power for 10 months, and the other 2 months will be complemented by CLSG power import. And this will provide an important source of dry season power, Mr. Speaker. The proposed tariff generation stands at 9 US cents, which is a single digit per kilowatt, and the wheeling charge or transmission charge stands at 2 US cents, making a combined total of 11 US cents per kilowatt hour. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the successful completion of these 3 projects by independent power providers in the country demonstrate that we are open to business. These projects will be transformative in the western area and northern province of Sierra Leone. The fruition of these projects will support the long-term provision of cheap domestic power by providing clean base load and renewable power vital to the success of the big 5 game changers set out by His Excellency the President. Sierra Leone needs low-cost, low-carbon farm power generation that delivers energy security, facilitates the extension and expansion of the network. This is critical, Mr. Speaker, in order to meet the government's sustainable development goals, commitment, and the Paris Agreement as ratified by Parliament in 2016. These 3 projects provide a diversity of renewable energy sources and the cleanest form of hydrocarbon, that is, hydro, solar, and gas into the current energy mix. Over the past few years, the Ministry of Energy has held several meetings and consultations with key government agencies, including the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Lands, Housing and Country Planning, the Sierra Leone Electricity and Water Regulatory Commission, the Electricity Generation and Transmission Commission, the Electricity Distribution and Supply Authority, the Environment Protection Agency Sierra Leone, and the Public-Private Partnership Unit, all of which have been core members of the government negotiating team. Concurrencies were granted by the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Justice, respectively. All projects have conducted environmental and social impact assessment, and from this developed environmental and social management plans and the resettlement action plans. The environmental social impact assessments have been completed and is currently being implemented by the generator. These were conducted applying World Bank and International Finance Corporation and the African Development Bank standards. These standards will continue to be applied throughout the term of the PPA. The Environment Protection Agency Sierra Leone EPSA licenses and the Sierra Leone Electricity and Water Regulatory Commission generation licenses and all other permits will be sought upon approval of this document. Against this backdrop, Milele Energy and TCQ Power Limited, Akko Energy Limited, SMRTPS Limited, together with Sewa Energy Resources Limited, are committed by the PPA obligations to source local content where possible and comparable as far as the Local Content Act of 2016. The project's additional capacity is expected to provide a significant number of jobs directly and indirectly. At the peak of construction, the projects are anticipated to employ up to a total of 5,000 construction workers. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I wish to respectfully submit the following memoranda. Be it resolved that this honorable House hereby ratifies the following agreement, which were laid on the table of this House on Thursday, 12 October 2023, namely 1. The 148.5 megawatt power purchase amendment for the Western Area Power Generation Project located in Kissy. 2. The 15 megawatt solar and storage power generation project located in Newton. And 3. The 28.2 megawatt Betmai Hydroelectric power project located in Pampana River in Tonkoli.
Honorable members, the question is that this Honorable House ratifies the agreements that were laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 2023 agreements as read out by the Minister of Energy. I intend to rise at 2 o'clock sharp. 2 o'clock sharp. Thank you. I give the floor to the Chair for Energy. And I suppose I will allocate to him not more than 10 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I don't want to deviate. Being a small boy, I want to thank you for supervising me since the 5th Parliament. Support for Mr. Speaker. For supervising me today, I can boast of being somebody with some sound knowledge. I want to thank you for that because you've been my supervisor and my mentor. Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, today we are here to ratify 3 different agreements, energy agreements. Not other agreements, but energy agreements. Because this government is poised to provide sustainable and affordable electricity for the people of Sierra Leone. And in doing that, you have to make the laws flexible. We have to create the enabling environment for investors to come and invest in the energy sector in Sierra Leone. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, times without number, I have said, energy generation and transmission is capital intensive. And in a situation where you have a challenged economy, most times you need investors to come and invest. Most times in the model we call build, operate, and transfer. Most countries that have stable electricity today use that model. Build, operate, and transfer. Because for most governments, the resources are not available to fix it for themselves. And to fix the energy problem in Sierra Leone, Mr. Speaker, we are getting on gradually. It cannot be a quick fix. So today, the power purchase agreement for the 148.5 megawatts for the Western area, that's a very big boom. Mr. Speaker, in the 5th Parliament, this particular agreement was ratified here. But now it is an addendum. And the second one is a power purchase agreement for 15 megawatts solar, renewable energy. We want to move from the use of fossil fuel to renewable energy. So that is why in the energy mix, in that event, we are also bringing solar 15 megawatts, and it's also going to be situated in the western area, Newton. And after that again, a Sierra Leone-led one, the one that is being led by a Sierra Leone team, the power purchase agreement for an amendment, because this also came here, but this one came to this parliament before Honorable Bandi knocked the doors of this parliament. But it came here before this parliament. So this parliament is fully aware of this Betmai hydro company also. But now there is also an amendment. So it has come before the 6th parliament for ratification to go into full-blown operation. So the idea, the agenda of the president, and the agenda of this parliament, and all Sierra Leoneans, meaningful Sierra Leoneans, for us to get us to a better renewable energy, then it will be actualized once these things are achieved. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I'm operating in 10 minutes, so I'm just going to a very brief one. I think this will be first of its kind. I want to take the western area power generation, 148.5 megawatts. Mr. Speaker, and that one is going to be situated in the eastern part of Freetown. Most times, while the western part of Freetown enjoy electricity, the eastern part of Freetown suffer outages. The simple reason, I told you, Mr. Speaker, in my second debate in this parliament, the 5th parliament, major rehabilitation on the transmission and distribution network took place in Sierra Leone in 1995. Since that time, no major rehabilitation has ever taken place. And the customer base has increased. Good number of customers now attached to ETSA. So we cannot ETSA cannot evacuate adequate power from western part Kintom to eastern part of Freetown. But that one is definitely going to be solved, Mr. Speaker, with intervention of this 15 mega solar situated in the eastern part, and this 148.5 megawatts is also able to solve the problem. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the tariff here, what I want to explain to honorable members here, the tariff, we have what we call liquefied petroleum gas. It's what we are going to, it's of 2 components. Liquefied petroleum gas is what we are going to start with. And under the liquefied petroleum gas, the tariff is going to be 7.23 cents US cent kilowatt hour. That means excluding the fuel charges. The fuel charges comes in as how the cost of prevail that moment. Mr. Speaker, this is very reasonable. The other day I said it here, when you put it plus or minus, we are buying electricity as 21.5 cent kilowatt hours, and we used to tell you 12 cent kilowatt hour to customers. So that is why most times when the Minister of Finance was here, even he made mention that ETSA is putting so much burden on the budget, And we want to get that body a little from the Ministry of Energy. So that's why you have seen some changes in the system. And Mr. Speaker, but when we come to LNG, when the liquefied gas comes in, then the tariff, the cost of the tariff will be 7.038 cents US cents kilowatt hour. Mr. Speaker, I will bring you all these figures to inform this Honorable House and the public. But once these projects are ratified and they come into operation, there is every likelihood that in economics, we say one of the sources of government revenues is public-owned enterprises. ETSA being a public-owned enterprise established by the government, all profits maximized by ETSA belongs to the government. So when we have a cheaper tariff, ETSA maximize profit. That profit will be one of the sources of Sierra Leone revenue. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, and
I hope by then we have solved the TV problem.
Well, that is not a one-man thing. That is not a one-man thing, Mr. Speaker. I would agree with you. That's very good, and I want to create an indulgence on honorable members. Most times, Mr. Speaker, in our communities, we do know who are connected illegally. But for the information, ETSA do not have an automated system that when you are illegally connected, they will notice that one. We all have to be watchdogs for our community if we want the government to grow from this level we are. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, now the 15 megawatt solar is also located at Newton. The power purchase agreement is 20 years, Mr. Speaker. And one good thing about these three projects, Mr. Speaker, is going to be built, operate, and transfer. After the concessional period, those projects are going to be government owned. That is how we are going to have our own generation of assets. Like we have Bumbuna now. Mr. Speaker, while we are buying at 21.5 cents kilowatt hour from IPPs, Bumbuna is less than 3 cents kilowatt hour. So can you imagine when we have our own generation assets, we'll be spending lesser money, and those assets will be providing money for government. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, let me go to Betmai. Betmai, Mr. Speaker, this is one of the companies that has added to the assets of this parliament, Mr. Speaker. I will tell you, I spoke to the clerk. Betmai invited a committee to give them updates on his activity. We invited him to the committee office there. They said, Mr. Honorable, you do not have printer. Outside, you do not have printer. You are supposed to have an office fridge. I say it's not available. They provided us with colored printer and office fridge. I have reported that to the clerk because it has to be recorded into Parliamentary Assets Register. It's not my personal property.
Thank you.
It's a gift. It's a gift.
Thank you.
That is the first of its kind, Mr. Speaker. Somebody invites you, come let me tell you what I'm doing. So we are very pleased with him. And he is located in the provincial areas. Because when we want to provide electricity for people of Sierra Leone, we are not only concentrating in Sierra Leone, Africa. We have our people in the provincial areas. And that is what Betmai is coming to help us with. Betmai is going to do 28.2 megawatts along the Pampana River, Mr. Speaker. That is around Magoroka. You know that very well. Those are your terrains, Mr. Speaker. And the tariff also you have from the minister is 9 cents kilowatt hour, and the transmission will be paying 2 cents kilowatt hour. So put together is 11 cents kilowatt hour. It is very cheap when you even check, you compare to other charges in the sub-region, Mr. Speaker. So these three documents before this House today for ratification. Mr. Speaker, we should not even waste time to ratify them.
Thank you.
We should not even waste time to ratify them, Mr. Speaker, because if we want to get out of the energy quagmire, then we have no reason to stand in the way of this document. And so on that note, Mr. Speaker, because maybe one or two other speakers will be interested. On that note, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank these three companies. Ministerial Energy TCQ Limited, Apple Energy, solar energy resources limited. I want to thank them, Mr. Speaker, as I have told you, because they are taking the bold step. They want to invest in the energy sector in Sierra Leone for our energy growth. So for the fact that they are creating that partnership with us, they want to take us from where we are to a better level, we have to thank them for that. On that note, Mr. Speaker, I want to crave the indulgence of this Honorable House and Honorable members that we speedily ratify this agreement. They are not contentious at all. They are for our own good. It is far better. These are far better agreements as compared to some other agreements previously done. On that note, I want to thank you for giving me all years.
I thank the Honorable. In light of that contribution, do we need waste any more time? Thank you. Wrap up. We'll wind up. Yes, Mr. Go ahead.
Again, for renewable energy and solar is what we need. Because my house, personally, my house, I have solar at my house. I use solar daytime and nighttime. And if this can help our country bring in all this megawatt into places that we need lights, it's a good thing for our country. Again, I don't want to talk too much. I just want to say this is a good bill, and I'm all in favor for it. Thank you very much.
May I invite the leader, acting leader of local business to follow suit.
Edward.
The opposite number spent barely a minute.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, honorable members. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, has no political risk. When I peruse subsection 2, it gives enough guarantee for political risk. What are we saying? It means one government after another government is still stand the test of time. It has to be recalled that President Adabio inherited energy in this country 50%. 2018, President Adabio inherited energy summing up to 50%. Today, we are proud to say energy is about 44%. 44%, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this agreement will not only provoke urbanization. Everybody wants to be in Freetown capital. This agreement will push people between Kleintown to Allentown. They will be beneficiaries. It means the 1.3 or so population that is in Freetown will begin to reduce from the western urban to the western rural because of the enjoyment of life. Mr. Speaker, before rounding up, the people of Kono were deprived in 1972. Under President Adabio, the people of Kono are now enjoying 24 hours life. Uninterrupted. Thank you very much for that question. Uninterrupted. You can imagine a project that was designed for the people of Kono between 1969 to 1972. It was diverted. It was formerly called, or it has to be named, B-Congo. The B-Congo project the people of Kono would have enjoyed between 1969 to 72 was diverted to Bumbuna. The service to the people of Kono. This is what President Adabio has done. Under the COSIA, every Liberia, Guinea, and Sierra Leone will today enjoy 24 hours life. Mr. Speaker, what do we have to be labeled? A document that gives credence to Asia that is thorough environmental, health, and social impact. Assignment, we are well done. And a resettlement plan, I'm a rural somebody. This project recognizes, respects landowners. That is to say, wherever the lineage or poles will pass, proper resettlement plan for the people. They will not be disgraced at all. They will be happy because resettlement package properly according to the agreement in 4.2 clause will be given to the people. Mr. Speaker, President Aadabio will be on record for taking energy from 15% to 44%, with the potential to more advance. I'm too sure, very, very optimistic. By the time 2028 expires, the people of Freetown, the people of the South, the people of the North, the people of the East will put blackouts as something of the past. On this note, I call on all acting opposition leaders and my fellow compatriots on this aisle that we speedily ratify this agreement.
Remember the last word, Mr. Minister, and then you move again.
On push more. You know me there. Push more.
Look at me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank you very much, revered honorable members of Parliament. I think what we've witnessed here this afternoon, Mr. Speaker, is one that we at the Ministry of Energy and also with our other MDs, colleagues, are very much grateful to this well, particularly with respect to all the kind sentiments that we've heard from the members of Parliament with respect to the potentials and opportunities that these projects are going to bring to our various communities and maybe districts. I think what we've heard from the Honourable Member of Parliament, who is the Chairman of Energy, is one that has clearly set the context of why we've brought all these amended agreements to this noble House. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I think the 148.5 megawatts, which is one of the agreements that we've laid here this afternoon, in addition to what the chairman has said, has another useful component, which probably I may just want to throw light on to this well. Because it is sad to report that about 3 weeks ago, when we had one of our consultative workshops held by the World Bank to look at the clean cooking framework that as a sector we are developing now. Because what has come out clearly over the period is that Sierra Leone as a country is lagging behind when it comes to clean cooking technologies. And it is sad to report from the studies that we've conducted that less than 3% of the entire population of Sierra Leone has no access to clean cooking. And which is as a result of our extensive dependence on biomass. We all know traditionally we use wood and charcoal for our domestic cooking and lighting, and that has predominated our activities over time. And we all know again the consequences most of our actions do have when it comes to this emerging global crisis, which has to do with climate change. Because Sierra Leone has also been listed as one of the vulnerable countries when it comes to climate change risks. So, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I just want to bring to the attention of the House that in addition to all that has been said, with the 148.5 megawatt Western Area Power Generation Plant that is going to be anchored on liquefied petroleum gas, I think is one that we should be very happy as a nation. Because we've seen over time there is a great deal of monopoly when it comes to LPG distribution across the country. That is to say, we only have one, Afrigas and also NP. So with the emergence of this 148, having a kind of a jetty that is going to be bringing most of these LPGs in country, we see there is going to be future framework that is going to break, the monopoly of having some of these cleaner forms of fuel, which is also potentially going to increase our cooking pattern as well as even increase our longevity. Because over time, they've reported that annually, well over 3 million people die of some of these good forms of cooking. So I just want to learn that again in addition to all of that. And one important note again that the Honorable Chairman said was as a result of the tariff And mind you, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, the tariff that is reported here, which is about 7.2%, not only takes into consideration the capacity charge, but it also brings on board the operations and maintenance cost, which is by no means also huge when you look at how projects are being structured. So it is also very, very important. And the second part of the discussion was also centered on the 15 megawatt solar in Newton. Of course, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, you will agree, each time you drive by Waterloo going up country, you see emerging kind of infrastructures being developed. And many times we have been inundated in the ministry with respect to providing energy supply. So having this 15 megawatt as an additional capacity in the Western area is going to resolve all of that. And finally, Mr. Speaker, with respect to Betmai, I think one important feature of this particular company is that Betmai has been a locally owned kind of developer, which is why, as a ministry, we've been supporting that particular developer to see how we could push this project forward. The location of the Betmai project in Tonkolili is very central because when you look at how the CLSG rural components are being implemented now, you will see that we'll have that as a major generating point in the event we have any shortfall in the CLSG. So, on this note, Mr. Speaker, and finally to the Honourable Member of Parliament from Kono, I appreciate your compliments and kind sentiment, and I'm also happy to report that some of the CLSG rural towns in Kono, especially the lines, have been energized, and we're just waiting for some few technical issues to be sorted out so that Kono also continue to have more of that. So, with those, Mr. Speaker, honourable members, I humbly submit be it resolved that this honourable House hereby ratifies the following agreement which we are laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 12th October 2023. 1. 148.5 megawatt power purchase amendment for the Western Area Power Generation Project. 2. The 15 megawatt alternate current solar and storage power generation project in Newton. And then 3. The 28.2 megawatt Betmai Hydroelectric power project in Pampana.
Thank you. Honorable members, the question is that this Honorable House ratifies the agreements as read out by the Minister of Energy, which were laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 12th October 2023. All those in favor say aye. Aye. And those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The government's motion by the Minister of Energy has been ratified.
Any announcements?
Mr. Speaker, I hope. Mr. Speaker, I rise on SO25 to give the House notice that I intend filing a notice of motion, Mr. Speaker, to evict all illegal occupants in the Sierra Leone Stadium hostels, all car dealers. But I want to give the House notice that I intend filing such a motion under SO25.
Very well. Yes, any other? Good. And no notices, no official, no announcements. Thank you. Honorable members, the House will stand adjourned to Tuesday, the 24th of October at 10 a.m. prompt.
This is not the end of the parliamentary sittings as Parliament ratified brings them all from the Ministry of Energy. This is not Unity Broadcasting. So thank you as we left for now. Thank you for viewing this Unity Broadcasting as be speak to me.